الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We continue inshallah ta'ala with the hadith of al-Harith al-Ashari, the hadith of Yahya, the son of Zakaria alayhi salam, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded him to be upon 5 things and to order Bani Israel to be upon them. And when he did not convey the message immediately, Isa alayhi salam, Prophet Isa alayhi salam, he addressed him and he told him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered you to be upon 5 things and to command Bani Israel to be upon them. So either you tell them or I will. So Yahya alayhi salam, he said, I'm afraid that in sabaqtani an yukhsafa bi aw u'adhab. That I'm afraid that if you go ahead before me when he's the one first was commanded by Yahya alayhi salam, that Allah would punish me. Which shows prophets of Allah, they are the ones that feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most. Because إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِ الْعُلَمَاء. Indeed, those who fear Allah are the people of knowledge. And the prophets alayhimus salam, they are the best when it comes to knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and did not rely on the fact that he's a prophet of Allah. وَآتَيْنَاهُ الْحُكْمَ صَبِيًّا. And how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised him, that if he's late or he did not convey it right away, he has so much of goodness. None of that. As you see the statement, إِنِّي أَخْشَى أو أخشى إن سبقتني بها أن يخسف بي أو أعذب. I'm afraid that if you go ahead and you surpass me with it, that I will be. Al-khasf is when someone is a sinkhole, someone is just disappear from the face of earth as a punishment or to be punished. And it shows the exaltation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our hearts. And this is definitely such a great benefit for us to learn. So yesterday we talked about the first one, which is that he commanded his people. Then he rushed, of course, to gather Bani Israel, and they're gathered in Bayt al-Maqdis, حتى علوا الشرف, till they were in the high places like the balconies and the like of this, filled with people, to give them these clear and great instructions. And what are they when we think of them and we will see them? The 5 pillars of Islam are mentioned, where people oftentimes they overlook them. These are the most important thing, the foundation of all things. There's no goodness in anyone or any nation unless they establish these pillars of the deen first, before they get other things in their life. So we talked about the Tawheed versus the Shirk, when he commanded them to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone and not to associate partners with Allah. And he gave them the example to make it very clear of how evil it is to associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the second one, and that's why here in this chapter of At-Tarhib min al-Iltifati fi as-Salah, this hadith, Imam al-Munziri rahimahullah, he puts it in the chapter of warning against turning in the Salah, whether it's with one's eyesight or with one's way looking at things, or even al-Tifat with one's heart, to turn with one's heart away from the Salah. So this is why he mentioned it, because of the second one, which is the Salah. What did he say to the people of Bani Israel? وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ أَمَرَكُمْ بِالصَّلَاةِ. And indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered you to make the Salah. فَإِذَا صَلَّيْتُمْ فَلَا تَلْتَفِتُوا. So if you make Salah, do not تَلْتَفِتُوا, do not turn to your right or to your left. This is al-iltifat, can either happen with one's face going like this, or with one's eyes. If a person yaltafit, that means instead of looking down to his sujood, he looks to the right or to the left. And also the heart has iltifat. The heart, when the heart turns away from the devotion and the presence of the salah to be somewhere else. فَإِذَا صَلَّيْتُمْ فَلَا تَلْتَفِتُوا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ يَنْصِبُ وَجْهَهُ لِوَجْهِ عَبْدِهِ فِي صَلَاتِهِ مَا لَمْ يَلْتَفِتْ. Because indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his face is facing his abd. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala faces his abd, his slave, in his salah. So do not, as long as he does not turn away. So if he turn away, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turn away from him. And this is one of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe in it the way it is. You know the meaning of it, and nothing is the like of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No tashbih, no resemblance, no similarities, and nothing is the like of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it shows the importance of what a person would be in the salah to focus. This is the salah, this is the moments that Allah knows best what happens when a person in salah. And we have some of these hadith and ayat of the Quran that shows that once a person is in the salah, he says Allahu Akbar, he is in a completely different level of things. This is the best time of one's life. And as the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "As-salah khayru mawdu'." The salah is the best subject ever. And if we can say that we are created to establish the salah, a person is not exaggerating. And the salah, when it was established in the night of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, it was 50 salah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it down to 5. And the hadith says, خمس في العمل خمسون في الأجر. 5 in action and 50 in reward. So there's no excuse not to focus in our salah, and it's the objective after the tawheed and everything else to serve the salah. And the hadith al-Qudsi in Musnad Imam Ahmad, where the Prophet ﷺ, he said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Inna anzalna al-mala li'iqam al-salah." We brought down al-mal, wealth and money and all of this to establish the salah, to establish the salah. So this is the mean and this is the goal. So anything that diverts the person away from the salah, there's no goodness in it whatsoever. And that's why this is what a person should sacrifice, what a person should spend. A person should take, making sure that he makes his salah. Alhamdulillah, by the mercy of Allah, that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, وَجُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا فَأَيُّمَا عَبْدٍ أَدْرَكَتْهُ الصَّلَاةِ صَلَّى. That the earth has been made for me a place of salah and a place of purification. If there's no water, there's tayammum. So anyone, the salah time comes to him when he is in whatever place, then he should make the salah. So therefore, again, no excuse. Even in war, the salah is an obligation with the rules of it. So this is the second one, and then after that, he tells them about siyam. We'll just take the siyam and then continue the rest, inshallah ta'ala, next time. وَأَمُرُكُمْ بِالصِّيَامِ. And I command you to establish the siyam, fasting. فإن مثل ذلك, and the example of that, كمثل رجل في عصابة معه صرة فيها مسك. That it's the like of a man in a group of people and he has a sack that has musk in it. فكلهم يعجب أو يعجبه ريحها. All of them, they're amazed, they like the smell of it. Someone in a group of people and he has a sack that has musk in it, everyone is amazed, everyone likes the smell of it. وإن ريح الصائم أطيب عند الله من ريح المسك. And the smell of the fasting person is more pleasant to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the smell of musk. Opposite to what physically would be, and as mentioned before, that the smell of the fasting person is not that it's we are addressed to make you smell bad. No, a person should make sure that he smells good. But the smell cannot be removed from the fasting person because it's coming from the stomach. You cannot go in there and do something to your stomach. Your stomach is empty, so as a normal thing, the mouth would change. But then a person using the siwak is from the sunnah, whether a person is fasting or not. So it doesn't matter. Even if the smell is good, the hadith still applies. And the smell of the fasting person is more pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than the smell of musk. And then the sadaqah will be mentioned afterwards. And then the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then after that, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, وَأَنَا أَمُرُكُمْ بِخَمْسٍ. And I command you with extra 5 after this. So we continue inshallah ta'ala next time. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those ممن يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. Those who they listen and they act upon the best of what they hear. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على محمد وآله وصحبه.